last 4.5 years of the writing, I stopped writing somewhere in 2002 something. By then, in the last 4.5 years, I had not touched or thought about the Mridangam. I couldn't be that way. So the first opportunity I got to see that the writing could be managed without me being there, I took the plunge. And thanks to Uma, my wife, who said that, you should be able to manage, let's try this out for about 8 months. And if you can't, then we'll go back to writing software. And she was a brave woman because that is a point where we had also got Sukruti. And Sukruti would have been just about 5 months. So she said, try it out and then we'll take a decision. I don't regret that. Learning was from 70 onwards, 1970. I was very lucky to have my guru who taught in Shanmukhananda. From 70 to 89 he stayed here. And I was 6 when I went under him. So I still go and learn under him. He's 95 today and he stays in Bangalore, Bannerghatta Road. His name is Vidwan Sri K.R. Chandramouli ji. Also, like tabla, is an instrument which has a pitch. It's not a dry sounding instrument. So I think that always kept ringing in my mind. And music was there in the family. Mother would sing, my brother plays violin, and grandma and my dad were very instrumental in seeing to it that we got into some form of music. So basically, rhythm generally fascinated me, and to bounce out things, mom sang, so you could, after a point of time of learning, you could try and accompany and see where you stood and things like that. Teaching in India has to undergo change on the classical front, I feel. Not with all teachers, but a lot of teachers, we need to address this issue. It's a common topic that I think the successful teachers should come and talk as to what makes them a successful teacher and why not some other teacher. Okay, so the points that I find is, like, if I go by the way I learned, okay, let's take a syllable like na, okay, and for a kid to get that sound on the Mridangam, when I used to learn, so thrice a week, so 12 classes in a month, it took about 3 months. Okay, with one class it is going to take as much more time, right? So when you say to the kid that this na will be sounding in about 6 to 8 months, he says, why do I have to spend so much time on this instrument? If I go to drums, if I put the stick on the drum head, it sounds. I would rather do that and explore it musically than spend time with this instrument which is not guaranteeing a sound in the next few hours. Okay, and that's the case with all our instruments in that sense, like a guitar, or it's easier to sound, it sounds big, it's not a small sound, all that is impacting. So the teachers have to see, Indian teachers have to see how to get that sound at a faster rate onto that hand. There are two types of learning. Okay, one is learning what your instrument is supposed to do on the turf that you were trained for. So it's trained for classical, it is supposed to do a certain set of things. Okay. And I must say, tabla is not a instrument which is immediately applicable to the vocal tradition. Okay, now people have started experimenting with that. So you have tabla players playing with vocalists also. Okay, you won't be able to play as loud as he would with Nadaswaram, but people are matching it out now. Okay, so Mridangam would be the loudest amongst Ghatam, Kanjira, Morsing on a concert platform in that sense. Okay, but the moment you apply it to a different context, okay, so if you go for, let's say, Hindustani classical, and that would be applicable to Carnatic music also. If you have a singer or an instrument like santoor or a sarod, which is very sensitive, or a singer who has a thin voice but musically great, you can't play with the same force that you would play for a robust singer. So you have to modulate yourself in that context. Okay. The other side to it is the moment you get to play with a Western setup, then you might have a drummer who's really a strong player. Then you need to be up to the mark in that front. So learning has to happen. You can't just stick to your guns and say, I have learned this and this will be applicable everywhere. Okay, speeds at which you perform. Your music from where you come from might have a different set of speeds which are considered good. But when you go to a different setup, then you feel that, okay, we are not up to the mark in certain cases. How do we improve? And not messing up with what you have learned, holding on to your ground, and yet catering to what is asked for. So all that matters, and once you start doing that, you will turn yourself to what's needed. That's what happens. I would say at least like good 20 minutes to a half an hour at least to be spent on the instrument daily. Okay, and don't look at it as an activity, you just look at it as a stress buster or whatever. But you put a plan and then do it, it will surely give you results. And one thing I must also say is whether you take any musical instrument or music as your profession or no, one of the best things that can happen to you after hard days of work is coming back and spending time, just 15 minutes with your instrument, you're back to a normal person that you were. That will make a big difference.